Welcome to my studio and welcome to Drawing in the Now. At the last class, I talked about and demonstrated the fourth activity in the I Create What I Believe program. It's called the labyrinth. Now, the labyrinth looks like a very, very simple activity, and it actually is. But what it actually does is it really helps you develop a stronger awareness of your breath and learning how to have your breath propel your movement instead of having your movement drag your breath along or it partners with it or something. But learning how to use your breath to move the body, to move the mind, and to connect with our soul. So I want to do the same activity again today, just because I really believe in repetition and refining things. And the reason for refining things is that when we first do something, we're doing it kind of on the surface level. And then each time we do it, we can drop down a little bit deeper and a little bit deeper and a little bit deeper. Now, it's also important to remember that our body is designed to entrain or synchronize itself with our environment. But if our environment is very chaotic, we don't want to entrain or synchronize with that. We want to entrain with our other environment, which is our inner environment. So we have an outer environment and we have an inner environment. This activity really helps you cultivate and become very aware of your inner environment, its pluses, its minuses, its strengths, its weaknesses. And know that through repetition of this very, very simple or seemingly simple activity, you can really develop a very deep understanding of your inner environment or your authentic self. I look at it as that we're learning how to become the person we were designed to be, not the person we were taught to be. So in this activity, just like all the other activities, some people like to begin with 3 deep breaths. It's not necessary, but if you find that doing the 3 deep breaths before you do the activity helps get you in a little deeper and helps you become a little stiller in the action of this activity, then use the 3 deep breaths. And if you want to just jump into the water and just start doing the activity without the 3 deep breaths, just fine. Do what works for you. So the fourth activity is called the labyrinth. And there's 2 versions of it I'm going to show you. So the labyrinth is basically we're going to be drawing a spiral. We go 3 times and we go into the center. And then when we come out, we either can trace the lines we made before or make new lines. This all seems pretty simple and it doesn't affect anything. All right, now what I want you to do is add the trick. And the trick is that you can only move your pencil or crayon on an exhalation. So let's try it again. So I start here and I take a really deep breath. And as I'm exhaling, I'm going to make a little sound so that I can keep track of when I actually do run out of breath. So it would be like this. When I want to run out of breath, what do I have to do? I have to take another deep breath. And another. all the way into the center. Okay, now we're going to go out. Once again, take a deep breath. Okay, so why do I start on the outside and move inward and then go from inward to outward? Well, normally I need this activity when I'm a little overextended. Might have become ungrounded, overwhelmed by something, overstimulated. So I'm out there a little bit too far. So when we're doing this, we're pulling ourselves into our inner environment or our self. And then when we get to the center, we will assume that we have collected part of ourselves that we had forgotten or lost track of, and then we bring that back out. But remember, you can only move on your exhalation. The second version of it is what I call the straight line spiral. I'll give you a new image here. The new image is, so I'm going to do a straight line spiral. So it's, once again, I take a deep breath and I move only on an exhalation. Only. And when I run out of breath, what happens? I need to take another breath. And another breath. And another. Now, when I first started doing this, coming up with the thing about the straight line spiral, I noticed that my system wanted to just stop at the corner. So I would go, and then technically speaking, I would have run out of breath maybe here or maybe up here. But my system wanted me to end here. And so there was a lot of being cumbersome, trying to figure out how to get there. And then suddenly realizing that, no, it's not going to be perfect. I'm going to not get a new deep breath here and then have to do another one here. My body doesn't, wasn't holding the breath that long, or it was holding it longer. So this actually, I could see that there was a conflict between my subconscious mind of how it thought I should be doing the activity and the reality of what was appropriate for me at the moment. So I want you to play with both of these. Both. And remember, we start here. We're making a sound. We are exhaling. And when we run out of breath, we stop, even if we're in the middle of something. And then we take another deep breath. Pull and move. And then another. Get my paper up here a little higher. Now here's a point where I actually ran out of breath at a corner. So I was able to just do it there. And there it went longer. But you have to remember the line here at the bottom and here are shorter than the ones on the outside. And so of course I'm going to be able to maybe meet my goal or hit a corner just because the lines are simpler. Once again, the point is to have your body follow the breath. Be really aware of when you take a deep breath, how big a breath you take, and how far this breath takes you. And know that by slowing yourself down in this way, you're activating your conscious mind. You're also activating and becoming more aware of your inner environment or your authentic self. With all the chaos around us in the world globally right now, I find that it's very, very important to be able to have a tool that you can pull yourself back into yourself when you've been sideswiped or overstimulated or overextended. It doesn't matter why it happened. It just happens. But what's important is to have a skill set that can recalibrate you can recalibrate yourself and be the person you were designed to be instead of the person you were taught to be. Now, we're doing this. We started this off with the crayons and the paper or the pencil and paper or the stick in the dirt. It doesn't really matter. It's like we're learning the technique in this form. But once you've identified this kind of spiral you like, do you like doing it clockwise or counterclockwise? Do you like doing the curved spiral or the straight line spiral? Do you like doing it with your non-dominant hand or your dominant hand? Once you know that, you can then move this activity out into your life. Let me explain. You can accomplish the same thing by drawing the spiral on the palm of your hand, or on your leg, or on your arm. And it doesn't have to be huge. It's important to learn a technique, find a technique, learn it, practice it. And then the most important thing is to disguise it, to find a way to use this in your daily life where people don't think should be locked up. I mean, you don't want to be going like this and this and this and this and this and this all the time. But you can do it here. You can do it on your leg. You can do it with your finger in your pocket. There's a lot of ways to do it. So you find first the form, which is the spiral, circular, or line drawing, or line spiral. And then which hand, and it could be one hand, could be your non-dominant or your dominant. And then in class 3, I introduced 2 hands. So you could actually do the labyrinth with both hands if you wanted to. But once again, don't make it complicated. Keep it simple. You want to be able to have a real easy time of shifting yourself from the reactive mind to the conscious problem-solving mind. So why do we have to be working to, move out of the reactive mind? Well, whenever our system is stressed, this part of the mind is designed to take over. Well, that doesn't seem like a good idea. Well, that part of the mind cannot detect if the problem you're having is, like you spilled something on the couch, or a lion is about to eat you. It can't differentiate. Fear is fear. So this part of the mind, can emanate a lot of fear. anxiety, overwhelm, all of that. The little blue area, which is the conscious mind, emanates love. And it's when we're in that place, in that mindset, that we can create anything, absolutely anything. I talk about how this part of the mind is showing you all the shoulds. You should be doing this. You should be doing this. You shouldn't be doing this. The blue area emanates you could. What could you do? What would you like to do? What would you love to do? What would make you the happiest? So back with a little bit more review is when we were doing the individual hands in class 1 and 2. We were looking for the movement that felt the best, that made us the happiest, filled us with joy, filled us with love. Why? Because when you activate, when you have those feelings, it means you're activating the conscious mind. And what happened, why this is happening, is that when you activate the conscious mind, your brain automatically dumps oxytocin and dopamine into your system. Those are the love drugs. Those are the feel-good drugs. So when you're doing the activity and you're looking for the spiral, be it the non-dominant, the dominant, two hands together, be it the curved one, clockwise or counterclockwise, the straight one, once again, clockwise, counterclockwise. When you're exploring that, you're asking yourself these questions. What feels the best? Because that's what we're using these activities, is to bring us back to the best. Bring us back to our authentic self. Bring us back to being who we were designed to be, not who we were taught to be. Now, we can blame our parents. We can blame all these, institutions. We can blame a lot of people, and we can point fingers. Or we can learn how to become very skilled at mind management using the I create what I believe activities, and then adapting them and utilizing them in our daily life. When you do that, it's a whole different experience. It's a whole different perspective. It's a whole different life. So when Dr. Bruce Lipton was doing his research at Stanford Medical School, he found that it was our perceptions and our beliefs that control our cellular biology. And that when you change those perceptions and beliefs, you can change your whole life. So that's what we're doing. It looks like we're doing silly little scribbling activities, spirals, things of this nature. But what we're really learning how to do is learn how to master our mind, or learn how to activate the conscious mind at will in almost any situation. This means that you're not going to get pulled down the drain of somebody else's drama. This means that you're not going to get overwhelmed by somebody needing you to handle and ground and just make things happen. You're not needing to be pulled into the spiral of somebody else's drama or somebody else's need for you to be a certain way. We want to be who we are. We want to share who we are. We want to give who we are to the world. So use these activities, and I hope you find the ones that work for you. And if you have questions or you would like me to cover a certain topic, send me an email. I won't answer it in the email. I'll answer it in the class. But many of the presentations that I do are the result of somebody sending me an email saying, could you review this? Or I don't understand this, or how can I adapt this? This is the situation. That's wonderful. And the reason I won't answer it in email is that if I answer it in the class, a whole bunch more people, a lot more people benefit both from your question and my answer. And if I just answer it in the email, it's not necessarily going to go very far. If you enjoy this class, if you enjoy what you're learning, pass it on to your family, your friends, your community, your social media. Just share it with the world. And maybe we can tip the tide and bring about more harmony and authenticity into our life and the lives of others. Thank you very much. And I will see you at the next class. Remember, we meet the first and third Monday of each month from 4:30 to 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time.